Guys, the channel is Mr. Biscuit Speaks. Please like and subscribe. The purpose of this channel is more and more just discovering insights and epiphanies wherever they might be hiding. We believe that the cascade is infinite. Guys, would you be down for some like the cascade is infinite merch or the dynamic is gigantic? Imagine us having like the cascade is infinite merch and people walk up to you like, what do you mean? What's the cascade? And you tell them about insights and aha moments, right? It's so dope. I love where it's going. But look, so many times, shout out to Laura, shout out to so many people who are following and who are sending in super chats requesting Akala fire in the booth. I do have to say though, I have to apologize in advance to Akala. I have not seen Akala fire in the booth. It's very similar to something we have here with Funkmaster Flex, who just allows people to come in freestyle a while out, right? The reason I have to say I apologize to Akala is because the first two fire in the booths that we watched were Rin, who went absolutely bonkers, and Harry Mack, who just kind of completely melted the booth. So look, those are two very difficult acts to follow, but without any further ado, guys, remember, like and subscribe, share. Guys, let's check out Akala. Let's see what it's hitting on.
I know you're gonna dig this.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Yo. Okay.
Guys, the beat is heavy. The beat is heavy.
Yo. Okay. Yo.
I like you. You're like a tiger.
Yes, I grew up on a dole in a single parent family. Been through a little bit of tragedy. Yes, I was around drugs and violence before the day that I started secondary. That's part of it, not half of it. Get the picture, the rest ain't necessary. Growing up, got a little caught up. That ain't even half of my life. Also given the knowledge of self, that is all we actually need to survive. If you saw me, age 9, reading Malcolm, just fine. Teachers still treated me stupid. Students that couldn't speak English, they put me in groups with. The irony is, some of the first man to give me schooling.
Guys, he just... First of all, very, very impressive flow. But he's talking about, raised by a single parent in a single parent home. I immediately relate. I was raised in a single family home, a single parent home. Shout out single moms, one of the most powerful forces in the world. Especially for, African Americans. I'm not sure if it's the same way over there. But listen, he said by age 9, he was reading Malcolm. He talking about Malcolm X at age 9. Still, disrespected by his community, still disrespected at school. Listen, guys, when I was in elementary school, something that they would say to me, because I was very articulate even then, something that they would say to me is that I talk like a white person. My mother was furious because my mother was an English teacher. My mother marched up to that school and said, I talk like an educated black man. To be sure. Mama was a gangster. Let's do it.
You were called gangster if you saw me, age 9, reading Malcolm, just fine. Teachers still treated me stupid. Students that couldn't speak English, they put me in groups with. The irony is, some of the first man to give me schooling, you were called gangsters. I already explained that we know what the truth is. They used to say, don't be like me. Yeah, I got a name and dough on the street. Nighttime comes, I can't sleep. It's the part that rappers don't speak. We don't hit the road cause we're thugs. Don't come out the room, wanna sell drugs. If we got the right guidance and love, would we fight people just like us? How could I knock the hustle to get by? How do you think I ate as a child?
Guys, he is going through so much and we're 60 seconds in right now. He's talking about being misguided and not knowing who to trust. The people who he trusted were gangsters. Listen, guys, this is one of the unfortunate realities about growing up in a single family home. Even though we should all salute and give our flowers to the single mothers of this world doing God's work. The unfortunate reality, guys, is that without a father present in the home, a young man has very little to fear. The thing is, I think, who was it? It might have been Larry Elder who said that because he had a father in the home growing up, he feared his father more than he did the police, right? So the reason he didn't go out there, committing crimes and selling drugs wasn't because of what the police would do. It was because of what his dad would do. So those of us who didn't have a dad growing up, guys, by the time you're 12, 13, you're far too wild for a single mother to keep up with a lot of times, especially when there's brothers and sisters involved. So I'm feeling him as he goes through this.
Don't speak, we don't hit the road cause we're thugs. Don't come out the room, wanna sell drugs. If we got the right guidance and love, would we fight people just like us? How could I knock the hustle to get by? How do you think I ate as a child? Judge no one, done many things wrong. Just don't boast about it in songs, but listen to my older bars. I was just as confused as you probably are, but you grow when you learn. Travel, cut, one too many man, get caught up. One too many man that could have been been doctors, end up spending the whole life boxed up. You learn if you
Guys, I don't know whether he keeps this pace throughout the entire 8 minutes and 41 seconds that I'm seeing at the bottom that this video is, but guys, he's growing right in front of us. Like he's saying from childhood, this is how it was, and this is how it was, you know, when I was in school, and then later after I was in school, this guy, you know, I kind of got mixed up with the wrong crowd, and he's telling us a story in real time, and it's like if it got any faster, it would be double time. And look at his face right now. You know, if anybody like looked at this right now, you would assume that he's like singing. You know, he just looks he looks like he's doing this with relative ease. I mean, he hasn't caught his breath quite yet. Very, very talented guy.
all the bars. I was just as confused as you probably are, but you grow when you learn. Travel on cup, one too many man, you know, get caught up. One too many man that could have been doctors, end up spending the whole life boxed up. You learn if you study. So
I'm sorry, guys. I have to speak to it. Neil deGrasse Tyson. If you guys are familiar with the astrophysicist, Neil deGrasse Tyson, he talked about how so many people wanted to stop him from being an astrophysicist. Unfortunately, within the black community, you know, wanted him to become something else. Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you staring up into space looking at the stars? Guys, in our culture, unfortunately, there's been so much toxicity introduced that it's sometimes difficult to bypass it. You know, when you want to get into something that, you know, the culture, because of how downtrodden the culture is, because of how much systemic abuse, you know, that's been introduced to the culture, it's very difficult to branch out or to find a community that respects what you genuinely want to be, as opposed to just following what you've seen growing up.
I was just as confused as you probably are, but you grow when you learn. Travel on cup, one too many man, you know, get caught up. One too many man that could have been doctors, end up spending the whole life boxed up.
Right,
you
right.
learn if you study, so set out just to make them money. No cover, it's all about getting poor people to fight with one another, so it's logical that us killing our brothers, dissing our mothers is right in line with the dominant philosophy of our time. But time is a cycle, not a line. Comes back around, you regain your mind. You be ready for the energy I challenge in my rhyme. Remedy the pedigree, the jeopardy your mind when the world's this leverage is a crime. We can all fight with a
Bro, to be this lyrical and this educational at the same time, guys, is no easy task. This is coming from a lyricist, right? The dynamic is gigantic. I'm gonna rewind it.
when the philosophy of our time, but time is a cycle, not a line. Comes back around, you regain your mind. You be ready for the energy I challenge in my rhyme. Remedy the pedigree, the jeopardy your mind when the world's this leverage is a crime. We can all fight with the brothers over crumbs. Harder to fight the one who makes guns. We can all talk get $2. Harder to be the one who seeks knowledge. If we understood economics with no money's nothing, think nothing of it. Money is a means to get wealth, not the wealth itself. And don't get confused, far from broke. All the
It means to get wealth, not the wealth itself. Guys, tell me if I'm interpreting this correct, or if you guys have a different interpretation, but money is a means to an end. It's not an end in and of itself. When I was doing some training and some coaching, I would tell people that money is not something that anyone wants. Nobody wants money. And that sounds counterintuitive. Nobody wants a Ferrari. Nobody wants a Lamborghini or a Maybach, right? What they want is how they think those things will make them feel. They want what money can buy. And then they don't even want the thing money can buy. They want the feeling that the object money can buy gives to them. So, you know, if someone were to say, look, I'm going to give you a Lamborghini, but I'm just going to let you in on a secret. It's going to make you completely miserable, right? Only misery can come from this Lamborghini. Would you still want it? Of course not. Because the only good thing about having any good thing is that that thing might bring to you some passing sense of pleasure or completeness or wholeness. And how he has kind of gotten us so far in 1 minute and 45 seconds is insane.
harder to be the one who seeks knowledge. If we understood economics with no money's nothing, think nothing of it. Money is a means to get wealth, not the wealth itself. And don't get confused, far from broke. All that you see me do I own, but I won't hang what I make around my neck. I know from where that the diamonds came, but I do literally own a library.
I won't hang wealth around my neck. I know where those diamonds came from. Ouch. Listen, guys, I've never been somebody who wears chains. I mean, I think I got into the fad in high school. I had something little, you know. I've never really had anything, hanging around my neck. I've never been that guy. And I've never really been able to afford anything like that. But guys, imagine that, right? Imagine, the blood diamonds, hanging those things around your neck. The things that people hang around their neck is completely crazy. But, let's keep it going, guys. He's dropping so many gems, haymaker after haymaker.
But I won't hang what I make around my neck. I know from where that the diamonds came, but I do literally own a library that definitely costs more than your chain. And businesses and property, far from starving. I eat quite properly. And
I got real estate too, goddammit. My guy. Listen, he's like, my library costs more than your chain. He's like, I have books. I have, guys, that's a bar. That's a bar.
library that definitely costs more than your chain. And businesses and property, far from starving. I eat quite properly, and I don't care. Just said it for the kids who need to know you're not broke to listen. Don't know an asset from a liability. They never been shown or told the difference, so they don't change situation. Richest man in Britain is Asian. That's significant, not coincidence. Asian people build businesses not by flossing, going out shopping, giving up the culture for everyone's profit. Who runs Bollywood? Indian people. Who runs our ish? So
guys, why did you
we
recommend?
shake our ass and
Hold on. Guys, how am I supposed to? He talked about the Asian community and how the Asian community is thriving in Britain. The richest man in Asia in Britain is an Asian. Asians do well across the board, and it kind of takes away from us the excuse, right? Black people, I think, in the United States are 12% of the population with less than half of 1% of the wealth in the country. Less than half of 1%. I mean, you see the archetypes like Michael Jordan and Will Smith and Oprah Winfrey, right? But those are the exceptions that prove the rule, maybe. But in general, Black Americans are consumers as opposed to creators, typically. And the Asian community, they come over. They haven't, on average, they haven't been here 3, 4, 5 generations. It's 1, 2 generations typically, and yet they come over and they thrive, which kind of takes away the excuse that we sometimes want to make, or say, this guy's the reason that I can't do anything, or that person's the reason that or this group of people, which isn't to say that, racism and, those things kind of don't exist. But guys, he's hitting this from every possible angle. You have to respect it. You have to.
never been shown or told the difference, so they don't change situation. Richest man in Britain is Asian. That's significant, not coincidence. Asian people build businesses not by flossing, going out shopping, giving up the culture for everyone's profit. Who runs Bollywood? Indian people. Who runs our ish? So we shake our ass and dance as if racism just upped and vanished. But has it? No, it's right on course. You're beaten so bad you're trained to ignore. Let me not just make sweeping statements. Give me a second, I'll explain it. For small amounts of drug possession, there's more black people in jail in America than there is for rape and armed robbery and murder all put together. You can say they're just locking up thugs. Imagine they're in prison, every middle class kid that.
Guys, I forget who said it. It was during the Nixon administration that they said that they went after the hippies with weed, went after the black community with crack, and just so that they could take out their leaders because these leaders weren't supporting the war efforts. Guys, I mean, you can get really far into conspiracies with these kind of things, but he's not wrong at all.
Robbery and murder all put together. You can say they're just locking up thugs. Imagine they're in prison, every middle class kid that had ever held drugs. Oh, that's right, that'd be your kids. Bigger than that, what is going on with this? Prison in America's private business. To get paid $50K per year per inmate by the state. Just wait, also legally are allowed to use their prison inmates as slaves.
Guys, this thing is a crazy, crazy lesson in history. I think right now he's talking about the 13th Amendment, which suggests that, the 13th Amendment says something like, we shall ban the keeping of slaves unless the person is convicted of a crime. Right. And the 13th Amendment still has that unless little thing in there. So after the slaves were freed, they were criminalized. They had to, join the Freedmen's Bureau and have, a job, working for, some white man. And they had punitive penalties for anything that they did, holding hands in public, having a dog that barked too loud. Yeah, I mean, after slavery, blacks were just kind of criminalized so that they could, you know, be worked in the same way. And the 13th Amendment just made it so, yeah, if you're a criminal, then you're a slave again. Guys, this is, you guys have to understand, we're 2 minutes and 45 seconds in, and he has given us like history lesson after history lesson. Is this just the way he raps, or did he just bring this pain to fire in the booth? Is this just Akala in general?
Inmate by the state, just wait. Also legally are allowed to use their prison inmates as slaves. Cheap slave labor, big corporations, they come out of jail when they can't get a job. So when we celebrate going to jail, we are literally celebrating enslavement. Add to that, the hood that you live in, engineered social condition that breeds crime by design. Where do you think you get your, and you can say that they're just black, but I like.
Guys, I hate that I chose one that he's kind of edited in. I don't know if there's one where these words aren't edited, but they're just like they're trying to like,
It's crime by design. Where do you think you get your, and you can say that they're just black, but I like to deal with facts. In the 1920s, you would have found in America black towns, prospering centers of economics to education to make you proud. But some people couldn't bear that the former slaves would not just lie down to the KKK and other hate groups. Burn those towns to the ground, killing hundreds if it ain't understood.
He's talking about Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was called Black Wall Street after they rebuilt it, by the way. That's when it was called Black Wall Street. But yeah, a lot of black businesses. I think that this is post Madam C.J. Walker time. Madam C.J. Walker being the first black millionaire. She made black hair care and makeup products for African American women when no one else would. So she made a killing. Black Wall Street had a lot of successful black businesses. And like he's saying, the KKK, aligned with other politicians, just flew over Black Wall Street and bombed it, massacring lots and lots of blacks in Tulsa, Oklahoma at the time. Then they rebuilt it and named it Black Wall Street.
Down to the KKK and other hate groups. Burn those towns to the ground, killing hundreds if it ain't understood. You think you were always living in the hood? It's only been 60 years since the hung blacks and burned them, and that was so cool. They were your baskets, picnic baskets, even gave kids the day off school. Go see a lynching, have a picnic, it's fun to watch the little monkeys die. And people act a little
Guys. So now, yeah, I gotta look this guy up now. I gotta look up his music at this point because he's dropping far too many facts. You can actually go on Google right now. It's not for the faint of heart, obviously, guys. But you can just type in lynchings, 1920 to 1950, 1960. And the spookiest thing about it isn't the black bodies hanging from trees. The scariest thing about it is that you have children and people, posing with the body. Like they're just posing with the body. Like this is normal behavior. They would use it as postcards for people who couldn't come. It was like a party. And because this went on until the late 1940s, started to die down in the 50s, what that means is that there are lots of people among us today who were in those pictures. And who were raised by people who were in those pictures. Yeah, it's kind of just a very dark part of history. Guys, I can't believe there's this many bombs in this song.
Been 60 years since the hung blacks and burned them, and that was so cool. They were your baskets, picnic baskets, even gave kids the day off school. Go see a lynching, have a picnic, it's fun to watch the little monkeys die. And people act a little dysfunctional. You wanna pretend that you don't know why. If your color means you can be killed and you're powerless to get justice about it, is it difficult to figure out how you would then end up feeling about it? And that ain't excuses, just dealing with the roots of abuses that make a reality where a generation of young men speak of ourselves as dirt casually. That's America, this Britain. Something similar, some different. In this country, the first enslaved with the working class. What's changed? Worse jobs, worse conditions, most tax. Look where you live and yet you go to the pub. Friday night you will fight with a guy, don't know what for, won't fight with a guy. Suit and a tie who send your kids to die in a war. They don't send the kids to the rich or the politician. It's your kids, the poor British, get the same to go and die in a foreign land for these wars that you don't understand. Yeah, they say.
Guys, he's saying, look, they mistreat you at home and then they expect you to go fight wars against people you've never met. For causes that you don't necessarily believe in. Guys, shout out to Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali was one of the guys who said, no, I'm not going over there. No Viet Cong, ever called me the N-word, right?
You are British, and that and a title send your kids to die in a war. They don't send the kids to the rich or the politician. It's your kids, the poor British, ain't the same to go and die in a foreign land for these wars that you don't understand. Yeah, they say you are British, and that lovely patriotism they feed you, but in reality you have more in common with immigrants than with your leaders. I know both sides of my family, black and white, a fed ghetto mentality, reality in this system. Poor people are dirt regardless of shade. But with that said, let's not pretend that everything is the same. When our grandparents came here to Britain, if you had a criminal record you couldn't get in. That ain't protected from all of the stupid abuses they will be living. Kicked in the teeth, stabbed in the street, many times firebombed our houses, put feces through our letterbox, and of course the cops did so much about it. Daily, up to the 80s, people spitting on my pram cause I was a baby. But of course, that has had no effect on why today we are crazy. And none of this was for any good reason. They were just dark and grieving to ease the guilt now for all of this treatment. Constant stereotypes are needed. So if I celebrate how big that my bricks that are flipping, clips that are sticking, chicks that I'm hitting, I'm playing my position. But if I teach a kid to be a mathematician, messing with the schism, how they gonna fill a prison when materialism is no longer our religion? What do you think we got now in Britain? Just like America, private prison for profit. That mean when your kids go jail, people make money off it. So keep environments that breed crime, build more jails at the same time. Market badness to the kids in the rhymes. Long as rich kids ain't dying, it's fine. Get them to the point where some are so lost they actually believe if they don't sell.
Guys, the thing to me that is so phenomenal about Akala, and I keep wanting to call him Akala, Akale. I don't know how to pronounce it because this is my first time interacting with this. So I'll be better next time, and I guarantee this is not the last time I'll be interacting with this artist. What's crazy to me about this is that, guys, this is where hip-hop started. Hip-hop started with, just talking about the struggle. Don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. Rappers talking about how difficult realities are and how to make it out, right? Even Queen Latifah with UNITY, right? Unity. And talking about how we should come together and stop killing each other and stop hating each other. And now, because of how commercial hip-hop has become, it's very rare to find someone who is not mostly dedicating their music to something trivial and shallow.
People make money off it, so keep environments that breed crime, build more jails at the same time. Market badness to the kids in the rhymes. Long as rich kids ain't dying, it's fine. Get them to the point where some are so lost they actually believe if they don't celebrate killing themselves off. That it's because they're soft. Was Malcolm soft? Was Marley soft? Tell me, was Marcus Garvey soft? Well, was Muhammad Ali soft? Nah, I think not, but they want us to think that the road is cool. Being on road is all we could do. We don't control the wholesale production, so who benefits from us moving the food? All thinking there's no way out of road life, but Malcolm X used to hustle on the roadside. And Marcus Garvey organized more than 6 million people with no Facebook or Twitter. Why is it something you can't eat? One of my own homeboys did a 10 straight in the boxing yard. Now what's he doing? Passing his doctorate. Don't tell me that it's too hard. Who trained you to believe you're inferior? Songbo Ebedo in Nigeria are the remains of an ancient moat dug 1,000 years ago. 20 meters wide, 70 down. Round the remains of an ancient town that's 400 square miles around. 400 square miles around. Please don't believe me, it was a documentary on BBC, but we ain't studying history. Too busy watching MTV, and MTV said wear platinum. Now everybody wanna go and wear platinum, and MTV said pop magnums. Now everybody wanna go and pop magnum. If MTV said drink prune juice, you will start hearing that in tune soon. Hey, today I wore my Cartier. Is it now more important what I got to say?
Guys, if MTV said to go and drink prune juice, everybody would be going and drinking prune juice. I think some of it, a lot of it is Jay-Z. Jay-Z was the big diamond guy. Before Jay-Z, diamonds were a girl's best friend. You couldn't catch a rapper wearing diamonds, right? Jay-Z popularized diamonds, right? He also, like the New York Yankee logo, I think he says it in one of his lyrics that he sold more Yankee hats than the Yankees did. Look, I mean, he's not wrong at all. We become commodities. In hip-hop, there is a lot of modal confusion. We talk about modal confusion a lot on this channel, about confusion between the being mode and the having mode. Right? When in order to be happy, you have to have the Maserati. You have to have the diamond chain. You have to have this and have that in order to be this, right? And what he's saying is, look, real power comes from education. I'm not modally confused, right? I take pride in my library, not my chain. Guys, I respect it. I respect
Go and wear platinum, and MTV said pop magnums. Now everybody wanna go and pop magnum. If MTV said drink prune juice, you can start hearing that in tune soon. Hey, today I wore my Cartier. Is it now more important what I got to say? Oh, and I drive a Mercedes, by the way, so everybody listen to what I got to say. Does that make you all happy? But it's my head still nappy. Think for myself, since I'm mad at me. But on the mic, not one batters me. All of this here's good for the rhymes. Put us in the same place at the same time, and it's clear to everybody I'm out of my mind. Some of these guys are running out of their rhymes. Clear to everybody that has got ears. I'm the guy that they just might fear, that they wanna get near, but they can't have a peer. Oh dear, I'm hard liquor, you just like beer. Front on the kid for another 5 years. Come to my shows and some cry tears.
Guys, look. This is my Animal Farm book, and join the Animal Farm book club. We're in chapter 3, and chapter 3 will be at some point this week. By the time this comes out, we will have already done chapter 3. But the reason I bring this book up is because this Fire in the Booth, if you were to print it, it would look like this. if you were to print all the words that this man has said so far, he could get this published, guys. This phenomenal message, and with the fact that he's double timing and just he's changing the flow pattern all throughout this. So he's deciding not to sacrifice the lyricism, even though he is just chalking this thing full of truth.
Now I the rhymes clear to everybody that has got ears. I'm the guy that they just might fear, that they wanna get near, but they can't have a peer. Oh dear, I'm hard liquor, you just like beer. Front on the kid for another 5 years. Come to my shows and some cry tears. Mean that much to him, it's a movement. I don't speak for myself, but a unit. Black, white, man, woman, anyone who respects truth we put in. Dudes are like no dinner, we're just pudding. Yeah, you're sweet but no substance pudding. You can never ever be with a level on. Our songs get played out there in Lebanon. We speak for the people properly, not for the old fat guys in offices and the girls love him. Ain't fair, you can't even be bothered to comb his hair. Anyway, that's enough kissing my own ass. Back to the more important task of being.
He says, and the girls love him. It ain't fair. He can't even be bothered to comb his hair. Guys, it's a movement, guys. I almost want to stop this and just research who this guy is. I am on this guy's team. This Fire in the Booth was done a long time ago, though, wasn't it? Guys, I have to do more research.
We speak for the people properly, not for the old fat guys in offices and the girls love him. Ain't fair, you can't even be bothered to comb his hair. Anyway, that's enough kissing my own ass. Back to the more important task of being so shower. I got half the hood screaming, knowledge is power. And I ain't saying that'll change rap back, but I do know this for a fact. Right now there's a you on your...
Wait a second. He says, that don't mean I'm gonna change rap back, right? Didn't he say I'm not gonna...
That's enough kissing my own ass. Back to the more important task of being so shower. I got half the hood screaming, knowledge is power. And I ain't saying that'll change rap back, but I do know this.
See, he says, and that don't mean I'm gonna change rap back, right? Change rap back. Rap used to be mostly this kind of stuff. And then, of course, there was just the DJs who were the hip, the hop, the hippie to the hippie to the hip hop, and you don't stop by rocking to the jang dang boogie, the up jump, the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie the beat. There were those guys too, right? Who were just like, yo, I'm just gonna flex on how good I can rap. But there was a lot of hip hop back in the day, in the golden age, where it was really about not just flexing your own shallowness and your shallow desires to make a bunch of money for absolutely no reason.
I got half the hood screaming, knowledge is power. And I ain't saying that'll change rap back, but I do know this for a fact. Right now there's a you on your block with his hands on his face screwed up. So he don't care, don't give a that he won't let nobody call his bluff, but the words go in. Open your shackles, once that's happened there is no going backwards. You start to see what is really happening. Who the enemy you should be attacking is. So read, stuck on the block, read, sitting in the box, read. Don't let them say what you can achieve. Cause when people are enslaved, one of the first things they do is stop them reading. Cause it is well understood that intelligent people will take their freedom.
Intelligent people will take their freedom. They want to stop you from reading. It's so incredibly interesting. It's like I was considered a nerd for this reason. I would, guys, I was a weird kid. I would go to after school detention, and then I would that's what got me fascinated with reading, because in after school detention, they would pass out books. And I started to read the Goosebumps books. You guys remember R.L. Stine, the Goosebumps? Guys, I would just be in after school detention just reading those books. And then I just got fascinated with reading because it would project you into another world. And that increases perspectival knowing. Guys, without perspectival knowledge, it's so It's nearly impossible to improve your state if you can't imagine a new perspective. That's another problem too with the black community being fatherless, is because when dads play with their sons, it's like you go into this imaginative place. And it's not just sons. It's when dads play with sons or daughters. Like I have a daughter. Her and I play this game where, all of her little toys are in an army and they all have to talk to each other and figure out their circumstances. This causes perspectival knowing. I get to see things from this toy's perspective, and I have to try to solve the problem while keeping this toy's perspective in mind. Guys, it's so important, because then as an adult, you're trained in perspectival knowledge, where when you're talking to someone, you can assess, like, how am I coming off to this person? How am I resonating? You can gauge things a lot better from that standpoint. So when he says read books, read, guys, I'm now understanding why you've been recommending this particular Fire in the Booth. Because, guys, we're living that right now. Those of you who are signed up for the Animal Farm Book Club, guys, we're going to continue doing books throughout this entire channel. I had no idea you guys were even into that. You guys are nerdy just like me. You are a nerd just like me. And we're going to go through this book. Guys, in chapter 2 of Animal Farm, and I am going to start this back. I have not forgotten about the reaction, but this got me excited. Guys, in chapter 2 of Animal Farm, the pigs learn how to read, but they're not allowing the other animals to learn how to read. And it's just because of what Akala is saying right here. Because knowledge is power. Whenever you see a hierarchical system with a strong man at the top, he reduces the ability of the people underneath to read, right? The Catholic Church didn't allow the citizens to read because the Bible was only in Latin, and the only ones who could read Latin were the priests and the bishops. And then Martin Luther translated into the common language, which was German, and gave it to the common people. And then when the common people got the Bible and read it for themselves, they rebelled, right? Same thing with the slaves. W.E.B. Du Bois, Frederick Douglass. When they learned to read and they read for themselves, like, oh yeah, what you're doing is contrary to what it says and to what it actually says in these passages. Which isn't necessarily to preference any particular wisdom tradition, guys, but I'm sorry to bloviate for a little while.
Read, sitting in the box, read. Don't let them say what you can achieve. Because when people are enslaved, one of the first things they do is stop them reading. Because it is well understood that intelligent people will take their freedom. Because if we knew our power, we would understand we can't be held down. If we knew our power, we would not elevate not one of these clowns. If we knew our power, we wouldn't get arrogant when we get 2 pennies. If we knew our power, we would see what everybody sees, that we're rich already. But never mind, MCs go run for your mummy. I'm hungry, I run for my tummy. That's enough, back to worshipping money. I'm off, back to the study.
He said, I'm off, back to the study.
Man! I can't just burn the booth down, man! Sis! And someone pass me that extinguisher! Hey, brother!
Guys, throughout that, he showed you where he came from, where all of us came from, gave us a breakdown of his own history, gave us a breakdown of American and British history, and then told us what to do about it. Guys, this was incredibly tough. I am definitely on this guy's team. I have to look up more of this, and I hope that somebody pronounces his name soon so that I'll have it for the rest of my life.
That mic has been burned.
Illustrate Records.
Now that is what you call fire in the booth. Not only they come with real crazy flows, the bars are crazy, the punchlines are crazy. It had a message, man.
Guys, I deeply appreciate it. Deeply appreciate it. I have to see more. What is the next thing that I should watch from this artist?